The village of Naram was unlike any place known on the maps of the world. Hidden between layered mountains and wrapped in soft blue mist, it stood like a whispered secret carried by the wind. The people who lived there believed their land breathed with ancient memories. They felt that every stone, every tree, every drop of water held a story older than time itself. And among them lived a young woman named Amina, whose life was destined to intertwine with the unseen threads that shaped the fate of the village. Amina's days unfolded in simplicity. She woke before dawn, listening to the echo of morning birds as they soared above the valley. She would walk along the narrow mud paths, her fingertips brushing against the dew-lined petals of marigolds. Though her tasks were ordinary, her thoughts were anything but. She carried questions that stretched far beyond the reach of her small world. She felt the weight of curiosity pressing against her heart, urging her to look deeper into the truths that others ignored. Her grandmother used to say, "Child, the world speaks, but only those who listen with courage will understand it." These words followed Amina everywhere. Sometimes she would pause near the old well at the edge of the village, sensing the faint echo of whispers rising from its depths. Other times, she felt as though the wind paused its journey to murmur secrets only she could hear. The elders dismissed such feelings as youthful imagination, but Amina knew there was something more. The turning point of her life arrived on a late autumn evening. The sky had turned saffron, fading into shades of crimson and gold as the sun dipped behind the mountains. She had wandered farther than usual, drawn by an emotion she could not name. As she reached the edge of the whispering forest, a strange calm enveloped her. The trees stood tall, their branches intertwined like arms sharing an ancient embrace. A warm glow shimmered beneath the roots of one particularly old tree, catching her attention. As Amina knelt to examine the source of the light, she discovered a small stone tablet tangled in roots. Its surface was etched with swirling patterns that seemed to pulse gently, as though alive with memory. She felt her heart race not with fear, but with recognition. Though she had never seen such markings before, something deep within her stirred, as if calling her home. She lifted the tablet carefully, her fingers tingling as she touched it. In that moment, the world seemed to shift around her. The wind fell silent, the forest stilled, and a faint hum resonated through the ground. She felt a connection she could not explain, an invisible thread linking her to something immense and powerful. That night, Amina couldn't sleep. The tablet lay wrapped beside her bed, glowing faintly in the darkness. As she closed her eyes, visions seeped into her mind. She saw rivers flowing backward, mountains rising and falling like breathing creatures, and a vast tapestry of light stretching across the sky. In these visions, she saw people she had never met and places she had never visited, yet everything felt familiar. It was as though she were remembering rather than imagining. In the days that followed, the visions grew stronger. She began hearing echoes in her dreams, voices layered over one another, speaking in tones that felt both ancient and gentle. They whispered fragments of stories of a forgotten lineage, stories of guardians who protected the balance of the world, stories of a girl who would one day awaken what had been lost. Uncertain and afraid, Amina kept these experiences hidden. The villagers preferred the comfort of their routines and rarely welcomed talk of strange occurrences. But the more she tried to silence the voices, the more persistent they became. Finally, she sought counsel from the only person she trusted with her deepest secrets, her grandmother, now old and fragile, but still wise beyond measure. When Amina showed her the tablet, her grandmother's eyes widened with recognition. Tears gathered at the corners of her faded irises. She whispered, "It has returned." Amina leaned closer, her chest tightening with anticipation. Her grandmother explained that the tablet was a relic of an ancient pact formed between the earliest inhabitants of Naram and the unseen forces that shaped their land. It was said to hold memories of the earth itself, passed through generations only when the balance of the world shifted. "You were chosen," her grandmother said, her voice trembling, "not to carry a burden, but to restore what has been forgotten." Confusion and fear washed over Amina. She had never believed herself extraordinary. She lived an ordinary life with ordinary duties. How could she carry such a responsibility? Her grandmother held her hand gently, pressing it to her heart. "You need not be born extraordinary to play an extraordinary role," she said. "Courage is not given by destiny, it is awakened by it." The following weeks transformed Amina's life. Each time she touched the tablet, memories unfolded within her like blossoming flowers. She saw the village not as it was, but as it had once been, brimming with light, harmony, and wisdom. She saw the ancient guardians walking with the people, teaching them how to listen to the rhythm of the world. She saw how this harmony broke, how fears grew, how the people turned away from the unseen, and how the village slowly fell into forgetting. Amina felt a deep sorrow for what had been lost. But beneath that sorrow, hope stirred. She understood that she was not tasked with restoring the past, but reconnecting the present with its forgotten truths. She began to speak gently with the villagers, choosing her words carefully. She shared small insights, small reminders, urging them to look closer at the world around them. Some dismissed her, but many listened, curious about her newfound clarity. As she guided others, Amina herself transformed. She learned to hear the rhythm of the earth more clearly. She sensed the pulse of the rivers, the breath of the mountains, and the heartbeats of the people around her. She realized that the tablet was not merely a relic, it was a mirror. It reflected the inner truth of whoever held it, revealing the strength, wisdom, and compassion buried within. One evening, as the sun melted into the horizon, a gentle glow enveloped the village. People emerged from their homes, marveling at the golden light that flowed through the air like shimmering threads. Amina stepped into the center of the village, holding the tablet close to her chest. The echoes she once feared now felt familiar, comforting, and full of purpose. The ground beneath her vibrated softly, and a warm breeze circled her. From the mountains to the riverbanks, the entire valley shimmered with the memory of what it had once been. And for the first time in generations, the people felt the unseen breathing alongside them. They felt connected to the land, to each other, and to the ancient harmony they had forgotten. Amina lowered her eyes, humbled by the moment. She knew her journey was only beginning. The world was vast, full of places that had lost their own balance, full of hearts waiting to be awakened. She whispered a quiet promise to listen, to guide, and to rediscover the forgotten light wherever it had dimmed. In that moment, the echoes of the hidden village rose gently into the sky, carrying with them a new story. A story not of fear or loss, but of awakening. And Amina, once an ordinary girl, stepped into her destiny not as the hero she never sought to be, but as the light bearer the world quietly needed.